the channel. It's your girl here, Prissy Gazy, and you are on the Gazy channel. If you're chancing on my video for the very first time, you're welcome. Kindly subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share. Let me know where you're watching me from, and if you have any suggestions, please do put it in the comment section. We're learning from each other, okay? Today I'm here to share a personal life story with you. You know, the month of October brings so much memories. So I've decided to share this memory with you so I can maybe get over it, okay? On the 10th of October 1998, I remember very well, I lost my grandma. And my grandma was everything to us, especially when my daddy passed on. And the it was so painful that it's been 25 years, and when we still speak about her, it's like it just happened. Okay, so on this fateful day, I remember I didn't see her before she passed. Okay, we were asleep when she left for a funeral back in Ghana, in a region called the Volta region. Now it's been changed. We used to have 10 regions in Ghana, now it's 16, and I don't really know what that particular side is called now. I know there's Oti, Savannah, blah blah blah, but I don't know if Volta, that particular place, is Peki. So I don't know if Peki is in the Oti region or so. If you are from there, you can kindly correct me in the comment section, but it used to be Volta region. So she went for a funeral in the Volta region, precisely in Peki. I remember my mom, my aunties were telling her not to go. I think a colleague's husband or a colleague, I don't know, I think it was a husband, a colleague's husband that died. I don't quite remember who died. That the whole organization or the staff of the hospital decided to go and support by availing themselves, being present at the funeral. So they went for this funeral. It was a Saturday. Because my mom and my aunties, everybody was against it, she actually sneaked with her bag, put her bag at another auntie's place, and woke up very early in the morning at dawn. It was one of my cousins that escorted her. So she was actually the last person to see her alive. So she went with her, she went for her bag, then left to her clinic. She used to work at a clinic, and left with her colleagues to the funeral. So when we woke up, we were asking where she was, and my cousin said she left for the funeral. My mom was like, "Hey, auntie that's wedding." Meaning we used to call my grandma auntie. So meaning auntie is stubborn. So she still left. So we were there, she's gone. So she's gone for the funeral. So we continued with our daily routine, whatever you have to do in the day we did, cleaning up here and there, and that was it. So later that evening, we were waiting, but she had not still returned. It was a return journey, but they had not returned. So they had a call to come to the clinic and that there had been an accident. So I remember my mom, my aunties, they left to the clinic. And my grandma is usually the one that cooks for us and does everything for us. We were, all my cousins and I and my siblings, like my sister, we are 3 girls. But we are 3 girls, and we're all with our grandma. At the time, my younger sister was still a baby. So, and she didn't know much. So they left for the clinic, and because my grandma was the one that used to do everything for us, and that day, that particular day, there was no food in the house. So I remember they gave us money to go and buy kinky. So we left to go get ourselves kinky to come and eat. It's such like the story. Look, it would sound like um, something coming out of a novel, but it's a real story. So we left to go get ourselves the kinky. On our way to get the kinky, there was this oven. I don't know if the person driving was learning how to drive or I don't know what happened, but there's a school on the park, like on our way to get the kinky. So this oven just drove straight into one of the classrooms, okay? It was coming towards us. It was where we were walking. So it was coming towards us. We ran and it went straight into the classroom block. We stood, we chat for a while. There was a mad person on the park, started chasing us. There was a whole lot of drama on that day. So we went, we bought the kinky, it fell. We got it for, we dusted the sun off the kinky, we put it back in the bowl we left with, and we came home. We ate our kinky like that, and we were just there chatting. Before we knew, there was a loud noise, like someone wailing, not crying, wailing. So we came outside and we're like, what's happening? What's happening? And one of my aunties, she was like she was crying, mentioning my grandma, auntie why, auntie who, auntie blah. We just, all of us just started crying because at that moment, we felt, I personally felt my life had come to an end because my grandma was our pillar, especially to my mom, because at the time my mom had lost her husband, and that's my dad, and she was very young. Yeah, very, very young when my dad passed on. My dad passed on when I was 9, so my mom was very young then, and my grandma was our support system. So hearing she's also passed on exactly 2 years after my dad, in the same month, you can imagine how we were feeling at that particular moment. It was a terrible feeling. Like I was crying, I was in denial. I was like, no, it's not true, because I was still in denial that my dad had passed on, because on the day that my dad passed on, he told us he was going for a journey. He was traveling. So in my mind, I still thought he had traveled and he would come back, because he said he would come back. And the time he would come back, we would be grown-ups and we may not even recognize him when he comes back. That was his words. So in my head, I thought he would come back. Okay, I was still in denial that my dad had passed on, even though I saw him laid in state and everything. I was still in denial. And as a child, you don't know what death really means at that particular moment in your life. So you will be in denial. You don't know. You may think, I was really thinking they had traveled. So we cried, we quarreled, like why did she go? Why didn't she listen? It was terrible. Apparently the driver, he wasn't a driver, but he was I think he was the accountant at the clinic. He lost control. The car ran into a tree. My grandma came off the bus, hit the tree. It was messy, and she passed on instantly. Okay, she died on the spot. They were 10. 2 died. My grandma and one gentleman, Mr. John. Yeah, I think he was called John. If I quite remember correctly, I think he was called John. And life after that was not easy because our two support system were gone. And my mom was in a state of shock for a very long time, having to deal with the death of her husband and her mother that she was relying on for strength at the time had also gone. And so it wasn't easy. Let me put it that way. It wasn't easy. So I was just doing some reflection, okay, retrospect, and was just thanking God for how far He's brought us, okay, all of us, all the family, you know, my siblings, my cousins, my aunties, everyone. Like my grandma leaving us put a lot of things into, let me say, order, because it got every child closer to their mother. Because at the time my grandma was alive, we were all close to our grandma. We saw her as a mother, so we were not that connected with our real mothers, okay? So when she left, we had this connection. Everyone had this connection with her, his or her real mom, and we built that what do you call it, friendship or relationship from there. And everything my grandma taught us is still stuck here. Though we were very young, we still remember her. Like I'll put up some pictures of my grandma and you would see we still remember her like it was just yesterday. And when I remembered when it was on the 10th, I'm doing this video on the 18th because I couldn't put myself together to do it on the 10th just to honor her memory, okay? I just couldn't put myself together. Though it's been 25 long years, I just couldn't put myself together to do it on that fateful day. We loved her so much. You know, I still love her. I know we all still do, and we miss her so much. Personally, I do. I wish she was alive to see where God has placed all of us. And I wish she was here to talk to us when times are rough, because she was such a good counselor, such a free-spirited human being, very giving. She's the type that goes to work, and when she's coming, she's having so much. We're living in a community where a lot of people were deprived. So when she was coming, and we're deprived as well. I didn't have it rosy growing up. No, not at all. So when she's coming back from work, she would take medicines from the clinic and be giving it to people that need it in the community. Help people in labor, help them to deliver. Like, she was a lot of things in one body, and was a support system for a lot of people in our community. 1 second. So as I was saying, she was a support system to a lot of people in our community. So when she passed on suddenly, it affected a whole lot of people, okay? Not only us, a whole lot that were dependent on her. And it taught us to be strong, to plan ahead, and to be prepared for anything and just anything, like everything. Anything can happen at any time. I just want to honor her memory today. And I know she's watching us from heaven, because that's where she belongs. I know she's part of the angels now that are watching over us. And I just want to tell her that we are doing fine. And we thank her for watching over us and giving us, teaching us so many things, even at that young age before she left. Because almost everything I know, I learned from my grandma. Yeah, I know I was about 11 when she died, but I learned a lot from her, a lot. Patience, smile, endurance, respect, being respectful, tolerant. You know, she taught us a lot. She's a type that she's very slow to anger. But when she's angry, there's no stopping her, you know. When she's angry, there's no stopping her. I remember there was a time in school when, you know, kids, when they are fighting, they just say anything. As they say, fight has no formula, you know. So when you are into a fight with someone, the person can say anything and everything just to get you. So I remember I had a quarrel with one of my classmates in school, and she was like, "That is why your dad is dead." And that thing hit me so hard. So when I came home, I told my grandma. The next day, she took me to school. And you can imagine the discipline she gave to that girl. She's like, this is something that you don't use to hurt anyone because it can happen to anybody at any time. But I know that my classmates didn't know what she was saying because we were all kids and we were naive, silly, stupid at the time. So it's one of those things. But I remember that day I beat the hell out of her. Jesus Christ. You know, I used to be this tomboy when I was in school, especially when I was in primary school. I was that tomboy. I was that girl that is always fighting in the class, fighting with boys. Yeah, I was that type. But now I don't know. All that strength is gone. And now I've turned into a crying baby. Everything I'm crying. So, Auntie, we love you. Keep watching over us from heaven. And keep the blessings coming. We'll continue to honor your memory. We'll continue to make you proud. And we'll continue to make you smile from wherever you are. Bless us to be more together. That unity, let it be more stronger between all of us, the entire family. Yeah. And keep blessing us. We love you so much. And we will never forget you. We would always honor your memory wherever you are. This is from all of us, from myself. I know I didn't tell the family before doing this, but I know they won't be angry. And yeah, I told my mom. I tell her almost everything. I leave just to let some parts out, but we talk a lot, so she's aware of this video. We're just honoring you today. Keep resting in power. And keep giving us this big smile from heaven. We love you so much. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Once again, it's your girl, Prissy Gazy, and it's a bye for now.